Boz.
Has spoken.
Welcome to the Land of Boz with Jeff Bosley.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Land of Boz. If you're new to the show, should go without saying, but I am Jeff Bosley, and a special mention, Allison at the opening of the show, who says, "Welcome to the Land of Boz with Jeff Bosley." I just saw her perform at the Lucky Strike in Hollywood, and I must shout out, she has been away from stage for a while, and her performance was breathtaking. So I will tag her in the description, follow her, check her out. I've been enamored with her and her voice since the day I met her. So check her out. She's pretty damn good at what she does. So thank you, Allison. Well, hell, it's Wednesday. You know what that means?
Hump Day, yeah!
That is right. It is Hump Day. There's a lot of thoughts went through my head as I said that. I don't know if it's because I'm back lifting heavy weights, which has been proven to boost growth hormone and testosterone or whatever. But damn, something's happening to Jeff chemicals. It's like Raging Bull. But yes, it's Hump Day. There's a little bit of honesty for y'all. Hump Day. I know it's been a little hot minute since I did a show, and I'm not going to apologize, but I'm going to apologize. Things have been awesome and chaotic. It's just been one of those weeks of, well, geez, where do I start? Well, today I found out, if any of you follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly doing stories about the herd of rodents in my, it's not even a crawl space the way my house is built. And I very, very loosely use the term house. But it's basically drywall, joists, plywood, and roofing. So if any of you know construction, you know that's pretty janky. There's I swear to God, a herd of rats or mice in my, it's not even a crawl space. It's literally the space between the drywall and the roof. So it just in between the joists, I can literally touch the ceiling, the roof, the ceiling in my room, touch the drywall and feel the vibration of them on the just on the other side of what's drywall, 3/4 of an inch. Most drywall is 3/4 of an inch. Anyway, just on the other side of that, I can feel them. So they Terminix came out today and said, "Oh yeah, that's not good." So hopefully I don't get any sort of respiratory disease or Hanta virus, Daisy Fuentes virus, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's been that. It's just been trying to get. It's weird because when you have a regular job, you have to be much more structured. When you don't have a regular job, structure is self-imposed, and some days it just goes to shit. So more or less everything's quote unquote normal, and I use that term really loosely, but had that. And then this Saturday I will be, actually I can't say that wouldn't be good intelligence as far as my Green Beret background, so I'll hold off on that. How's that for a horrible tease? But lots been going on, lots to talk about. This is probably going to be a heavy show as far as acting and relationships, based on some comments on Instagram and various platforms. They could probably be quite long discussions, so buckle up and enjoy that. One thing I know a lot about from experience, one thing I know a lot about from experience. So let's get into the show. I'll do a couple segments, and then we'll get into the chunky stuff. As always, before I get to my long-winded rants of absurdity with no science to back up 90% of what I say, I try to do a little bit of history so we can all feel a little bit more intelligent. So here is what happened today in history.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! Life story of Playboy Penny! Extra, extra!
And history. It's kind of a boring topic, but it's funny looking back. I really wish I would have paid more attention. So I'll just hammer out a couple things that I made a comment about this earlier in my Instagram story. I'll actually touch on it later in the show about how there's just too much going on in our lives. I mean, everything on the internet, everything we're saturated with, emails and texts, and how we actually have to. I personally, and I think all of us, need to take like an active part in like diluting how much content we're getting smashed in the face with. So my attempt to do that is to educate us with history, so we know, just a little bit of smarts. So for today, February 6th, I will pick good history. Today, February 6, 1933, the highest recorded sea wave, 112 feet, comes from the Manila, Philippines to San Diego, California. Doesn't seem that big, but maybe I'm just desensitized from movies. Like The Day After Tomorrow, that's actually good. I love those movies. I'm a sucker for those movies where the world ends because of weather. Let's see. Today, February 6th, 1788, I'm my own worst enemy. During football season, I'm a Broncos fan. During baseball season, I'm a Red Sox fan. My argument is, obviously, I was born in Colorado, and I spent a lot of my life in Colorado, so Broncos, duh. Most of my life, the Rockies didn't exist, so I didn't have a team. And then one day, I was in the Las Vegas airport. This is years and years and years and years ago. The Sox had just won their first World Series after, it was like a 29 or 39 year dry spell. And I just had a hair transplant, honestly, and I'd left a hat in a bathroom. And for whatever reason, the stores were smart about putting up, the two teams' hats in their stores for depending on how the World Series ended. So even though it was Las Vegas, they had Boston hats on, in those little gift shops. So I bought a Boston Red Sox hat. And you cannot own a hat without becoming a fan. So, by definition, I was a bandwagon member in the moment, but I was just generally supporting somebody that hadn't been a World Series winner for a really long time. But the minute I did it, just a sheer pride and arrogance, I was like, I'm going to commit to the Red Sox, and I have not deviated since. So I started as a bandwagon, but now I'm a fan. Long story. So today, it's 1788. Massachusetts becomes the 6th state. Holy crap, I didn't realize it was that soon. 6th. It was in the top 10. I mean, it makes sense because it was in the East, but damn. Today, born February 6th, 1912. Eva Braun. That name does not ring a bell. That was a funny text. Adolf Hitler's mistress / wife. They were married shortly before committing suicide together. Which, if that's not a metaphor for marriage, I do not know what is. Also born today in 1911, one of my favorite handguns, February 6th, Ronald Wilson Reagan. If you don't know who he is, smack yourself in the face. You should know history better than that. Also today, born February 6th, why am I struggling? 1895, the Sultan of Swat, Babe Ruth, George Herman Ruth. He hit 714 home runs, pitched 29 2/3 scoreless innings in the 1918 World Series, a record that stood until 1961. It's a hell of a run. Also, played for the Red Sox at one point. Let's see, some good stuff here. Oh, born today. A lot of good births today. Jamaican reggae singer Bob Marley. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. He was born today, 1945. Tom Brokaw, and that is the news as I see it. I don't know what he said, but I think that was actually a pretty damn good impression. American TV newscaster, February 6th, 1940. He was... Look at news back then, for those of you my age and give or take older or younger. He just reported the news. There was no slant, there was no left, there was no right. A building burned down, he said a building burned down. There was no ulterior motive or some sort of angle about it was a building that burned down in Detroit where left-wing politicians failed to finance. I mean, he just talked a building burned down. That was it. Mike Farrell. Nobody knows who he is. If you do, good for you. But he was born February 6, 1939. The reason it clicks with me is I was on this TV show. He was an American actor on Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives. He played Scott Banning, and he was B.J. Honeycutt in MASH. Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. What the hell's the M stand for? Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, MASH. Man, that show has a bittersweet taste for me. My dad made me watch that every freaking night. Ironically, I became a Green Beret medical specialist. Moving along, some actors and actresses and blah, blah, blah. Anybody good die today? Nobody good died today. All right, not a good day for death. We'll keep it at that. That was Today in History. We now come to a portion of the show that's kind of still evolving. It kind of sometimes has to do with a song that's highly inappropriate for a certain situation, or I'm just kind of also evolving it into a education about a song that is now kind of inappropriate considering the facts of the song and what we thought it meant versus what it truly meant. So here's a little bit of inappropriate music.
On it all inappropriate. Make sure it's feeling. Are you feeling what I'm feeling? I sure am.
So today's song, it is a bar band staple and karaoke favorite. The song has become so popular, throwing it back to the Red Sox, that it is played during the 8th inning of every Red Sox game at Fenway Park. A little side trivia, a great firefighter friend of mine, while she and her family were at Fenway, there was a foul ball hit and she dove over the wall. Everybody thought she was going for the ball, but she actually went up and scooped up a scoop of Fenway dirt, put it in a Ziploc for me. So I have a little bit of Fenway dirt in a Ziploc in storage. But it's played at the eighth. It's played during the 8th inning of every Red Sox game at Fenway Park. And the artist finally revealed in 2007 he innocently wrote the song for a young Caroline Kennedy when her father was president. However, the lyrics at least have a hint of sexuality to them. For example, touching one, reaching out, touching me, touching you. The song, Sweet Caroline, by one of my favorites, Mr. Neil Frickin' Diamond.
Touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Your tongue never seemed so good.
And as promised, today's show is going to be heavy on 2 segments, one on relationships and one on a little bit of acting chat. But before we get into that, I've been getting a lot of messages on all the platforms regarding what's going on in the physical world, the fitness world of my Jack Reacher pursuits. So we'll kind of touch on that for those of you who are interested on what I'm doing and how it might apply to you. So here is a little bit of fitness chat.
Okay, I'm going to get a Bowflex. I'm going to commit. I'm going to get some dumbbells.
You know you can't eat dumbbells, right?
All right. So the rodents I mentioned earlier in the show, it's getting to be dark, and so they are in full frickin' force above my head right now in the drywall. It's like when I went to SEER school, for those who don't know, it's basically like how to survive being a prisoner of war and being tortured. They did some horrendous things, orally, AURALLY, like stuff you had to listen to. This would have broke me, hearing these damn things scratching in the drywall. It would have broke me way. Actually, I didn't break, thank God, but it would have broke me compared to what I had to listen to. But fitness talk. For those of you following me, I know that's pretty much my opening to everything regarding the whole Jack Reacher thing. And for whatever reason, people follow me because of fitness. And I think I kind of pride myself on this because I'm not a fitness person, but fitness is a huge part of my life. And I think, I hope that's why people kind of gravitate towards me, because fitness people, we all know them. For those of you who followed me a certain amount of time, we all definitely know them. Fitness people, especially if it's their job or their career, it's quote unquote easier to have a life of health and fitness because that's their job. They more or less are literally paid to do that. Movie actor Jeff, it's a little easy too because it's also part of my life. But firefighter Green Beret Jeff, that was much harder. So for whatever reason, people are kind of gravitate towards me for fitness. And actually just meant I need to answer this text. So hold please.
It's the whole music. Hold music.
All right, I'm back. So, what am I doing for my fitness journey for the whole Jack Reacher thing? I spent a lot of my life up until the military just lifting weights to look cool, and I was not functional. And then when I got to the military, I realized I had to be functional and strong and have endurance and pretty much the whole package. So in the military, ironically, I did because some of the traditional military training is useless. Going for 3-mile runs serves no purpose. It creates cardiovascular durability, but it's at the expense of your knees and your body and serves no purpose. Especially if you're running for 3 miles with the bad guy chasing you, you've done something very wrong. So before I would go onto base, I would actually wake up and I would actually do a P90X workout. Those workouts are good smokers, and they were good for the military because they incorporate a lot of body weight training. My at the time wife and I had a really good home gym in our garage. We had like a 2-car garage, but it was like 1.5 deep. So it was like a 1, 2, 3-car garage in a way. So the back third of it was a home gym. And so I would do P90X. I would do like Jim Jones training. And then after I got out of the military, firefighting, same thing. I had to be functionally fit. And then now what I'm doing in Hollywood is role dependent. My default is I like lifting heavy weights and doing bodybuilding training, but I also like to be functionally fit, so that's why I do Jim Jones training. So that's the background. But as of now, for Jack Reacher, what he is described as on page and what he needs to be transcribed to in real life is a big frickin' dude. It says 250 in the books, but the way it's explained and the artist renderings and all the images that have been shared or used by the author or fans, he's not a 250-pound dude. He's much bigger. So I've worked all these people are in the description below. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. But I've connected with Simon Mitchell of Iron Paradise Fitness out of the UK. He and I met via a podcast we did with my ex, and he just clicked with my mentality, my fitness lifestyle. I've been doing this since like the 90s, early 90s, like 1993, 90s. Hell, no, 1990. So I know what I'm doing. I have a concept. I know what works, what doesn't. But after that much time, it's nice to talk to new people and bring in some new science. And seriously, Simon his programs leaves no stone unturned. If you're remotely interested, his programs are not for like elite seasoned bodybuilders. They're for everyone. And he's helping me create a program. And this, I can't believe I didn't think of this in the past, but his program now he's calling it Jacked Reacher. And I foresee this being something he can use for future programs for other clients, for people that want to get big and strong, but also be physically active. And so it's a 9-day workout rotation. I'm not going to give away like all the quote unquote secrets, but the gist of it is it's a 9-day workout rotation with A, B, C, D, E, and F training days, all of which kind of mimic the same body part and push and pull movements, but are different workout days. And then I'm also incorporating Jim Jones training into that, so I can be functionally fit and be athletic for when I get the role, and I can be on set and be balanced and strong and all that. And then in lieu of that, I've been working with Dr. Gabriel Lyon, who is helping me get my insides fixed. I've spent many, many years ruining my body in all ways, shapes, or form, mentally, spiritually, and that's all taken a toll on me. And she's helping me get my body right from the inside out. So with that 3-pronged approach, Simon Mitchell, Jim Jones, and Dr. Lyon, that's currently what I'm doing. So a day in the life of me involves pretty much very heavy weight training, safe but really heavy. The goal is to get I always say this wrong, hypertrophy, to get big muscles with Simon's programs, and as far as his like caloric intake. And then Jim Jones is 1-2 days a week of training. If I'm not at Jim Jones, I'll be at Unbreakable Performance, which is also a very cross-training-esque environment. Where they incorporate a lot of MMA and boxing. And then also from the inside out, Dr. Lyon is helping me with my supplements, getting all my labs and my chemicals that my body's producing or not producing, getting them all right. So it's a 3-tiered process. A lot's going on. I'm trying to journal it on my YouTube channel. If you're curious or want more info, please chime in. But the gist of it is I'm lifting really heavy stuff. I'm doing a lot of crazy psycho cross-training with Jim Jones, and I'm keeping my body in shape with all the medical advice Dr. Lyon's given me. So that is the short summary of what I'm doing to become Jack Reacher. And actor chat based on some DMs over on Instagram. So it's kind of like it's kind of email, it's kind of a fan mail, it's kind of Q&A. But inherently, it's an actor question. So here is some actor chat for the day.
Well, I'm an actor, right? So I got to keep my emotions right at the surface, you know?
So actor chat. I got this message on Instagram. Occasionally, I'll post just using their like little Q&A feature or Ask Me Anything feature. And this question came up. What type of characters are most challenging for you to portray? Pretty cool question. I'll start with the ones that are easy. I think any actor, at the end of the day, we're portraying quote-unquote real people. It's just the circumstances they're in. I mean, even if you look at the Joker, he's a real person. The circumstances are fantastical and fiction. But every character, I mean, unless you're playing, the guy that puts the suit on to play the alien in Aliens, you're playing a human. And so there's always a seed or a foundation of empathy that you can draw from. So the easy ones are the ones that line up with you inherently. I use the phrase easy loosely, but it's less of a stretch, I'll say that, for me to play a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL. But on I guess the thing I would say with that is also the catch is then it is your job to find something unique and something clever to be to make that a unique approach to the character. Because if I just keep playing Green Berets and Navy SEALs the same way every time, that'd be lame and one-dimensional. But if I take the script and look at the character and make it its own unique version of a Green Beret Navy SEAL, that's the important part. The business side of filmmaking is, if you only have one line in a TV show, don't lose your sleep on creating a character and putting too much weight to that, because at the end of the day, you're probably just saying a line to help transition between commercials. So that's just some of the little trivia. But so with that being said, the flip side of that, the hard ones that are to play, I would assume you understand, are the ones that are not me. It's easier for me to play the firefighter, the good guy, the nice guy, the FBI agent, the Green Beret, this Navy SEAL, the protective father. I don't have kids, but the protective father, the protective brother, roles that are inherently me. And I think any actor is that way. It's the ones that deviate the most extreme from that are hard. Roles I've played that were the hardest were ones where I had to play a person that tried to rape a woman. I played a person that tried to sexually assault his half sister. I've played a character that had to he sexually assaults his daughter, and those are the hardest ones because they're not me. So that's the actor's job, is to portray that, and I use this phrase loosely, but to do that character justice. Like a good example is Mystic River. I think that's a great film. There are some characters that the audience is left going, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy? Ooh, that's creepy. And the actors that need to play the characters that make us all go, ooh, that's creepy, they are the ones that have a lot of work to do in that I'd like to assume the benefit of the doubt that they're not inherently like the characters they play. I'm not obviously a rapist or a pedophile or a half-sister sexual molester. But it's still I say this loosely, but it's still our job to do that role right. So if I'm playing a Navy SEAL, I got to play that Navy SEAL to my fullest. If I'm playing a pedophile, I can't dial it down because it's a character I don't agree with. I have to play it to the fullest. And I think that's my theory, my hope is that that's what good actors do. And so those are the ones that are difficult because they're not inherently me. However, human emotion, human conditions, and human feelings and spirit and soul or whatever, those are universal. Anger is anger, whether it's anger and I beat up somebody as a Navy SEAL or I beat up somebody as a protective older brother or control issues. It's psychologically documented that rape is based on a control issue. I love control, so I have to apply that in my normal world and apply that to a character that is extremely fictional to me in a world where that individual, believes or is a rapist. So I have to find that common denominator of emotion. So those are the ones that are hard because at the end of the day, I'm a good guy. Playing a pedophile. I'm so sorry. Playing a pedophile or rapist, those are difficult. I may not have kids, but I'm very protective of children. All the charities and fundraisers and all the volunteer work I do is somehow around children. So those children particularly, those ones are extremely hard. But in a way, because children have such value to me, I can use that to my disadvantage, if you will, where I see the value and the importance of a child in a person's life. So if I'm unfortunately playing a character that does something to children, I can see the weight of the character. So I guess that's my short answer. Probably not short answer, but that's my answer to characters that are most challenging for me to portray. The ones, particularly with children, but the ones that just aren't me. On the surface, like I said, I'm not a rapist or a pedophile. But I have control issues. I'm a sexually driven creature. Most of us are. But taking that stuff and applying it to, I said it earlier in the show, living realistically in imagined circumstances. Like, what would you do realistically in that imagined circumstance? And sometimes that imagined circumstance is very, very far fetched for who we are as on our daily who we are daily as a person, versus the fictional character we're playing, which might be way more extreme. So, hope that answers your question. That was a beautiful question. Hopefully, I answered it. Feel free to chime in. I love these, and it's any way I can help you. And particularly in this segment, any upcoming actors that just want to chat or hopefully learn something from my thoughts. God dang it. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I love talking about this stuff. Acting obviously is what I do, so I'm very passionate about it. In fact, the Terminex person that came over today is a struggling actor, and I talked her ear off for about an hour, giving her just tips and advice and coaching and just a lot of my thoughts and processes. So I really do love this stuff. So yeah, thanks for listening. And here's the part in the show where, God help us, for whatever reason, when I posted a question on Instagram, what should I talk about? A handful of people, well, one person said something about relationship. They just answered, I said, what should I talk about, topics or ideas? And they responded with the one word, relationship. So I reposted that saying specifically what? And that person and a handful of other people chimed in. So F if I know, but for whatever reason, Jeff Bosley is going to be talking some relationship talk.
Do you believe in life after love?
So I combine a little bit of do you believe in love with down with the sickness, because there must be a level of virus involved with asking me for relationship advice. But like I said in the opening, People asked me about relationship, and then I asked for clarification. A handful of people chimed in on various topics that I've written down, and I guess I'll address now. The first one is the original poster, and it said, I'm reading it right now. How do you make your own standards, wishes known at the beginning of a relationship without the other person freaking out or them thinking it's a chore? Brilliant question. And ironically, my last relationship, we did that at the, I would say at our first date, our first like coffee meeting. Like it was more like we didn't work out, so I don't know if that means anything. I mean, I'm retrospectively glad we didn't work out. I'm glad she called it quits and broke up with me. But one thing I'll take from that relationship is our very first meeting, our very first coffee date. We met, and it was like a job interview. We talked about our goals, our dreams, our failings in past relationships, our kids, no kids. I guess in retrospect, I maybe would have been more explicit, but it still was. The older I get and the more relationships I've had under my belt, I'm a pretty loyal guy, or I am a loyal guy, and all my relationships have been pretty long term, and marriage didn't go right, and that was the person I was with for 12 years, and then a engagement that didn't go right, I was with for 2 years, and miscellaneous serious relationships in between. I'm at the point now where I don't want to dick around. And so the person that asked me this, it's a very valid question. My first answer is if it scares them away, screw them, because that means they're weak and they're not going to work with you anyway. Like standards and wishes, letting it be known at the beginning of a relationship. My new mantra is, I'm a little extreme, which this isn't exactly the healthiest answer, is if I'm interested in a person, like I almost... when we're talking, or if we are talking, all of this is hypothetical basically, is my first thing is to say, because it always comes up, when you're old and, we're not 18, I'm not 18 anymore. It'll initially come up of like, well, why are you single? And I'm straight up telling the person, I'm poor. I will prioritize career and work over a relationship. And here's the thing for me, that doesn't mean I don't care about the person. A lot of people take that as this all or none thing. It's not like if the person's about to get hit by a bus or has a really important event, I won't try to make everything work. But that's where all my relationships have failed, is I put career first, whether I'm actually away or my mind's gone, thinking of career stuff. And that's the thing I'm going to do right off the bat. And if that scares them, that kind of self-filters right off the bat. Obviously, you don't want to just like, hey, nice to meet you. Do you want kids? That's a little effed up. But to me, it's almost reassuring and peaceful, especially, and I look back, I don't want to use the word wasted, but had that person and I been maybe a little bit more honest with ourselves and each other, or more like aware and brutally truthful, we might not have quote unquote wasted 2 years. That sucks, man. That really sucks to spend 2 years or 3 years or 12 years or whatever, and then pretty much having nothing to show for it, so to speak. So I honestly say, outside of the first meeting, but you know what? In the first meeting, in a way, I mean, now that if you're in your late 30s or 40s, you're not 18 anymore talking about like, oh, what college are you going to go to? Now it's a legitimate question. Like, why don't you have kids? Do you want kids? I mean, because that's a deal breaker. I think having come to Jesus honest moment with yourself and your deal breakers. And the older you get, the more that becomes more explicit. And if that scares them off, the work is done. Because if it's going to scare them off now, it's going to scare them off 2 years from now or 5 years from now. Why have a miserable existence only to have it end anyway? And so like, I guess know your deal breakers, and the older you get, the more those things become way more, the value, there's a lot more value to them. When you're 18, you're like, I can see how it goes. And, so like for me, a lot of the things are career, fitness, and as old fashioned as I am, I'm kind of a hybridizationing all the the follow-up questions that people had in regards to this topic. But in my current career, one of the things, even though I'm really old-fashioned, I like having the man take care of everything, not in a sexist way, but just in an old-fashioned, like the man pays for dinner, the man pays for that, and I think that's really cool. But the one thing I'm learning as I get older and in the career I'm in, where I'm barely able to keep myself alive, is if the person expects me, this happened to me back in the past, where the person all of a sudden expects for some reason my income to double just because we're seriously dating. I can't all of a sudden afford to pay for somebody else's everything we do, and that's just the sad state of the world. We live in a world where there's dual income housing, or dual income households where both parties have to work. And just because you're dating someone doesn't automatically make you doubly rich. And so that's not necessarily, I don't want to use the word deal breaker, but that's really important to me, is because, yeah, in my heart of hearts, I truly believe in the old fashioned man pays for everything. But in the situation I'm in, where career comes first and I'm living pretty thin, pursuing that chaotic goal, if for some freak reason the person all of a sudden expects me to have double the income to pay for them, and like rolls their eyes at paying Dutch, peace. That's it's not a judgment. It's just obviously a difference in opinions, because if all of a sudden I can't date you till I'm rich, that's bullcrap. And these are just kind of things I'm learning over the years and years and years and years. And like everybody has like their own certain body type. I've learned over the years that I want a very like feminine body, and some women want a very masculine, tough bodybuilder man. Some women don't, and so know your deal breakers, because you can't change a person. Why would you do that? Especially when you're older. Don't go into something that's just a stupid waste of time. Like this is interesting as far as fitness. Like you'll see this where a couple met like slightly out of shape, and then for some reason one party in the couple all of a sudden is really interested in fitness, and then becomes slightly unattracted, finds their partner unattractive because they're not fit like the other person's is fit all of a sudden. And so that's an interesting change in life, and I've seen relationships break over that, because one person was happy being out of shape and the other person in their new life wanted to be in shape. So like really have I think myself included, it's taboo, and there's this weird hesitation if you're a good person to like know your deal breakers. Whether it's religion or politics, I don't think should be a huge factor, but I say lay that shit out on the line. Life's too short to dick around with that stuff. Don't kid yourself. Don't let your hormones think for you. Truly come to Jesus. Have a moment of honesty with yourself. Have good friends that keep you honest. I have a very good friend that keeps me on the straight and narrow. And, I think I'm looking at the notes again, and I think that's the biggest thing is if the other person freaks out or thinks it's a chore, therein lies your answer. That shouldn't be the issue. Obviously, if it's all like a bulleted list of superficialities, you might need to have a little gut check. But, like everything, like those things that seem superficial, those things add up. Like if person is organized or a unorganized, chaotic wreck, if the person is a night owl and you're a morning person, that stuff you can't muscle through. Once that honeymoon phase is over, that stuff will be glaringly still there. So don't be out to change the people, and don't let them change you. And I think, this could keep me single for life. Because the older you get, the more stringent you get, the longer you're alone and single, the less flexible you become, and the more stuck in your ways you become. And so, yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope of solitude. And it might be that way, I might have a set standard as far as religion, sleep habits, work habits, prioritizations, physicality, like, a feminine body. I'm not going to let the person change me. I need them to understand I all of a sudden can't pay for all their life. That stuff, the more and more of those things that exist, the more narrow the field becomes, so to speak. So, and I think the point out of all of this that everybody can agree on is if you don't have your shit right, don't start throwing other people in your life. You got to fix your own stuff. And I guess that's also where I'm at personally, to be honest, is I am in no place to throw a relationship in my life. I barely have my own existence right. So how dare I throw a human in that equation? I can barely keep my dog and I alive. So the need for being, Netflix and chill, literally or metaphorically, that's not a reason to throw yourself in a relationship if you aren't ready to be in one. So I think the root question that started all the other questions that spawned off on the Instagram post of how do you make it all known without freaking the other how do you make it known without freaking the other person out or making them think it's a chore? If those things freak them out or they think it's a chore, that answers the question. If you say I don't want kids and that freaks them out, okay, there's the answer. They don't need to be with you, or vice versa. If you say I get up early and they don't, and they think that's a chore, all right, there's the answer. Moving on. Pay for the coffee, call it good. In my circumstances, pay Dutch because you don't have enough money to pay for you both. Call it a day, shake hands, and move on. Because next thing you know, if you're not careful, 12-year marriage, a 2-year engagement could go south, and you could hate each other and move and never speak again. And that really serves no purpose. And I guess at the end of the day, you learn, just from any experience, you learn what didn't work. So you take that away from it. So, I guess I'm an expert as far as what doesn't work. And I guess from process of elimination, I'm slowly learning what works. But hopefully that answered the original person's question, and then the 5 other people's follow-up questions. It's kind of a ramble, but you know what? The short of it is life's too short. Hammer that crap out, and if it filters them out, so be it. You saved yourself some time. Bye. And that concludes our show for Wednesday, and maybe by the time some of you get this, Thursday, February 6th, 7th, of the Land of Boz. Thank you for everybody that participated on Instagram and all the other platforms helping design the show. I kind of like those because at the end of the day, it's for you. I really think a lot of this show would be really fun if I can get a co-host set up. That'll take some time, and to be brutally honest, it'll take it's hard to do it for free, and that's not like some subtle poor me hint. It's hard to coordinate a lot of that at a just quote unquote free time. But I really know Scott and I someday will do this as a co-host scenario, because that dynamic would be hilarious. But in the meantime, I'll keep with the segments until you all tell me otherwise, or you all are you're all welcome to suggest new segments, anything, because as I always say, the show is for you. Anything, this is purely for your entertainment. I love all the segments. Obviously, I'm the common denominator, but at the end of the day, you are the boss and I'm the employee. So for everybody that's still part of the Patreon program, or whether it's Patreon specifically as a membership, the quote-unquote membership, the Patreon patron scenario, Amazon or Cash or Venmo or whatever, I appreciate everybody seeing the I guess value in time. That's what I hate about this industry is so much time is put into stuff, and I appreciate everybody just kind of helping that dream and being part of the Bosley pursuit. And please know, anything you do and don't do, it all. If you followed me long enough, you know I don't mess around. Anything you do or help or contribute or donate or whatever, it all goes to a work-related cause. So it all means the world to me. It fuels especially the Jack Reacher thing. That thing is kind of in trouble financially. That thing's expensive. But everything I'm doing on Jack Reacher, my feature film Deserted, and everything from there all the way to just putting food on my table. It's all awesome, all appreciated, all means the world to me. And I'll keep churning out the free stuff for y'all, and let your conscience be your guide. I know people feedback and love the show, and that means the world to me. But I'll quit rambling, because I've been doing it a lot. So it's hump day. Go hump, literally, metaphorically, and have a kick-ass day. So go forth, conquer, kick ass, be relentless. Adios, everyone.